It has been a while since we last touched a Next.js project here on the channel, so I figured it was time. Recently, while digging through awards for a fresh video idea, I landed on a site that had picked up Site of the Day just last week, on July 25th, and the thing that immediately caught my eye was its text reveal animation. Watch as you scroll. The text sits hidden behind a heavy blur and then melts into focus, the letters bleeding into each other as soft gooey blobs before snapping into sharp, clean type. What I liked most was how reusable the idea felt, so I set out to build it as a single Next.js component, one you can drop into any project, import, and customize in seconds. And I did not want it to do just one thing. On its own, it reveals the text on page load, but flip it into scroll mode, and the reveal fires the moment the text enters the viewport. Switch to scrub mode, and the whole effect binds to your scroll position, melting in as you move down the page and back out as you scroll up. One component, 3 ways to use it. Across this video, I will walk you through the entire build, step by step, from an empty component to that finished GUI reveal. If you would like to grab the source code for this project, along with hundreds of other micro projects and a brand new website template every month, you can check out the Pro membership via the link in the description. And if you find this kind of content useful, a like on the video and a subscribe really do help the channel grow. Alright, let's get into the code. I have gone ahead and set up a fresh Next.js project so we can skip the boilerplate and get straight to the interesting part. Let me give you a quick tour of what is already here. The page is built from a handful of sections, each carrying nothing but placeholder content, since the copy itself does not matter for this build. We start on a hero, move into a room section with 2 dummy paragraphs, pass through an index of stacked headings, land on a collection section with 1 more block of text, and close on an outro. Full screen banner images sit between them. They're purely to give us some distance to scroll through. The styling is just as plain, and none of it touches the animation. It only exists to make the page look presentable. Walking through globals.css from the top, I load the custom heading font, run a standard reset, and add a rule so images always cover their container cleanly. From there, it is mostly typography and layout. The headings wired to that custom font and scaling fluidly. The sections filling the viewport with a bit of padding and a soft background, and the banners stretched to full height. A few smaller rules round it off, centering the hero and outro, stacking the index headings, and keeping things tidy on mobile. As you can see on the side, the page already holds together nicely. Placeholder text sitting in place, waiting for motion. That is our starting point, so let's get into building the component that brings it to life. Before we write any component code, there are a few dependencies to bring in. The core one is GSAP, which drives every animation in this build. Alongside it, we will install the official GSAP React package, which gives us the use GSAP hook, and its job is to run our animation code and automatically clean it up when the component unmounts, so we never leave stray tweens or split text instances behind. The third is Lenis, a smooth scrolling library, and it matters here because the scroll-driven variants we build later feel far more natural against smooth scrolling than the browser's default. I will open a new terminal window and install all 3 in a single command. Once it is done, I will close the terminal out. With those in place, let's warm up with the easiest piece first, wiring Lenis into the page. On the home page, I will import React Lenis from the Lenis React entry point. This is a component wrapper around the Lenis instance, so rather than creating Lenis manually and running its update loop ourselves, the component handles that lifecycle for us. Rendering it is a single line. I will place React Lenis at the top of the returned markup and pass it the root prop, which tells Lenis to hijack the scroll on the document itself rather than a nested element, so the whole page scrolls through it. Save that, and over on the side you can already feel the difference. The scroll is smoothed out end to end. That is smooth scrolling handled. So next we will build the GUI filter the effect depends on. Now let's build the piece that makes this whole effect possible, the filter. But first, what are we making and why? The effect works in 2 stages. We blur the text heavily, spreading each letter into a soft, fuzzy cloud, which on its own is just a plain blur. The magic is the second stage, a filter that sharpens those blurred edges back into hard shapes. Where the letters overlap, it fuses them into thick, connected blobs, and where the blur fades thin, it cuts it away. That is what turns a plain blur into liquid GUI text. So we need that filter, and the cleanest way to reuse it across the page is to define it once as an SVG filter and reference it from our CSS. Inside the source directory, I will add a components folder to keep everything in one place. Within it, a folder called GUI filter and a single file, gooeyfilter.jsx. Giving each component its own folder leaves room for its styles later. Let me paste it in. Visually, this renders nothing. It returns an SVG collapsed to 0 size and pulled out of the layout, so it never shows on the page. Its only job is to hold the filter. Inside sits a single FE color matrix, the actual mechanism. It runs a hard threshold on transparency, pushing soft, half-transparent blurred pixels to either fully solid or fully gone, with almost nothing in between. That snapping is what fuses our blurred letters into blobs. It does nothing yet because we have not fed it any blurred text. But the moment we do, this is the piece doing the work. Last thing, make it available on the page. Back on the home page, I will import Gooey filter and render it once near the top. Since it takes no space, where it sits does not matter. It just needs to be on the page, so our CSS can reach the filter by its ID. With that done, let's build the component that puts it to work. Inside the components folder, I will add another folder called animated copy with two files, animatedcopy.jsx and animatedcopy.css. The JSX holds the component. The CSS holds the few styles it needs. Right beside it, let me paste in the starting point. For now, this does almost nothing. It just takes in children and hands them straight back. But notice the small split in the logic. If there is a single child, we return it untouched. If there is more than one, we wrap them in a div and tag it with a data copy wrapper attribute. The reason for those two paths matters later, but the short version is, some sections pass a single heading, others pass several at once, and the component needs to handle both. That attribute is how we will tell the two cases apart down the line. Right now though, it just renders what you give it. With that in place, let's use it. Over on the page, I will import animated copy and wrap each block of text with it one by one. So every heading and paragraph gets nested inside one. Since the component just returns its children as they are, nothing changes visually. It simply hands the component control over that text, ready to animate. And if I refresh, exactly as expected, nothing looks different. The text is all still there, just now routed through our component. Now, before the core logic, let's clear the styling out of the way since it is quick. Over in animatedcopy.css, I will paste in the first rule, targeting the line class, which is what each line of split text ends up with. It is set to display block so the lines stack, and then the key part, the filter. This is where we finally connect to that Gooey filter from earlier, pulling it in by its ID, alongside a very small blur that softens the thresholded edges just a touch, and I'm adding the WebKit prefixed version below it, so it behaves consistently in Safari. Then one more rule, for the line inner class, a span we will wrap around the text inside each line. It is set to inline block because a plain inline element cannot take a blur filter properly. It needs layout to sit on. This is the layer that carries the animated blur, while the outer line carries the Gooey threshold. 2 layers, and that separation is what makes the whole effect work. But we will see exactly why once we build it. With the styling done, let's head back into the component and start building the logic that brings this to life. Alright, let's wire up the component. At the top, I will import the CSS we just wrote, so those line styles are attached here. Next, use client, since our component reaches into the DOM and runs animations, and neither works on the server. This directive is not optional. It tells Next.js to render this one on the client. Then the imports. React with the useRef hook, since we will hold a DOM element and hand it to GSAP, then GSAP itself, and 2 plugins, split text, which breaks our text into lines, and scroll trigger for the scroll variants later, and use the hook that runs our animation and cleans it up. With those in, I register the 2 plugins, so GSAP knows they are available. Above the component, I will define 2 constants, blur start and blur end. The start is a heavy blur, the end is 0, fully sharp. These 2 values are the entire animation. We go from one to the other, and I am using munits rather than pixels on purpose, so the blur scales with the font size. A bigger heading gets more, a smaller one gets less. All from one value. Now into the component. First a ref, container ref, which points at the element holding our text, and it is how GSAP gets a direct handle on the DOM without React in the way. Down in the return, I attach it to our wrapper div, then use GSAP. I call the hook and pass it a function where all our logic lives, starting with a small guard. If the ref is not pointing at anything yet, we bail out. Then a config with scope set to our container ref, which keeps every animation contained to this component and cleans them up when it unmounts. Now the work. First, what are we splitting? Remember those 2 paths, a single heading versus several at once. This is where that returns. I check whether our container has the data copy wrapper attribute. If it does, we are dealing with the wrapper, so our targets become all its children. If not, the ref is on a single element and that is our only target. Either way, we get an array to work through. Then I create an empty splits array to track every split for cleanup later, loop over each target, and call splitText.create, telling it to split by lines and give each the class of line, exactly what our CSS is already targeting. Then push each split into that array. And with that, every piece of text is broken into lines, ready to animate. Now, before we go further, let's talk about the structure the Gooey effect needs, because this next helper sets it up. Here is the thing, we cannot blur a line and put the filter on that same line. We need two separate layers, an outer one carrying the Gooey threshold filter, and an inner one carrying the blur we animate. The blur has to sit inside the element with the filter, so the threshold runs after the blur and snaps it into those hard Gooey shapes. So let me write a helper for that inner layer, called wrapLine for blur. It takes a line, creates a new span, and gives it the class of line inner, exactly what our second CSS rule was targeting. Then this loop moves every child node out of the line and into that span. And notice I am moving the nodes one by one, rather than reading the line's inner HTML and setting it on the span, because moving them preserves the actual elements split text created and everything it measured. Through inner HTML, I would be reserializing all of it, and that quietly breaks the split, so we move the real nodes. Then once the line is empty, drop the span inside it and return it so we can grab hold of it. Now let's use it. Like our splits array, I add another empty array called blur layers to hold every inner span. Then back in the split loop, right after splitting each target into lines, I loop over those lines and push each wrapped span into blur layers. So now every line gets wrapped as we split, and all those inner spans are collected in one place, ready to animate. And that brings us to the starting state. I use GSAP.set on all our blur layers with the blur start value, freezing every line in that heavy blur. The before state everything melts out of in a moment. But if I save and refresh now, nothing happens. The text is still sharp. And that is expected because of something we left unfinished. Remember the first version of our component where a single child was returned untouched. The problem is, returned like that, our container ref never gets attached to it. So for our hero heading, the ref points at nothing and no splitting or blurring happens. So let's fix that. Instead of returning the child as is, I return it through react.clone element and pass it our container ref, cloning the single heading and attaching the ref straight onto it. No wrapper needed. Now the single heading sections behave like the wrapped ones. So with that connected, let me refresh again. And there we go. Our text is now sitting there as thick, gooey blobs. The Gooey filter and the blur finally working together. It is frozen for now. No animation yet, but this is the before state. And next, we will make it melt into focus. Now for the part we have been building toward, the reveal itself. First, in the components props, I will add a delay, defaulting to 0, so we can optionally hold the animation back before it starts, which we will want for the hero. Then, right after we set the starting blur, I will animate it away. I use GSAP on all our blur layers, tweening them to the blur end value, so they melt from that heavy blur down to fully sharp. I give it a duration of 1.5 seconds, a power 3 out ease, so it starts quick and settles softly, and a stagger of 0.1, which makes the lines resolve one after another instead of all at once. And I pass in that delay, so the whole thing can wait before it kicks off. So let me refresh. And there it is. Our text starts as those gooey blobs, then melts line by line into crisp, sharp text. The effect fully working. Now one thing we should not skip, cleanup. I will return a cleanup function that loops over every split we stored and calls revert on it. This tears the split text back down when the component unmounts, so we never split the same text twice, and it stays clean if we navigate away and come back. And that is our first mode done, the reveal on load. Now let's make it configurable, because right now it only fires on refresh. In the props, I will add a mode, defaulting to the string default, the switch that decides how the animation triggers. Then our second mode, scroll. Instead of firing immediately, this one waits until the text scrolls into view, then plays once. So I wrap our animation in a check. If mode is scroll, we run the same tween as before, same blur, duration, ease and stagger, but this time we hand it a scroll trigger. We point its trigger at our container, set start to top 80%, so it fires when the top of the element reaches 80% down the viewport, and set once to true, so it only plays a single time. Everything else, the original on load animation, moves into an else branch, staying the default. Then on the page, I set mode to scroll on the 2 paragraphs in the room section and the outro heading. So now, if I scroll down, those reveal exactly as they come into view. And now the third mode, scrub, where the reveal is tied directly to your scroll position, melting in as you scroll through and back out if you scroll up. So I add one more branch at the top if mode is scrub. The tween is nearly the same, but notice there is no duration and no delay. And that is the key idea. With scrub, your scroll position is the timeline. The scroll trigger gets a start of top 75% and an end of bottom 75%. The scroll range the reveal plays across, and scrub set to true, which glues the animation to the scroll bar. Then on the page, I set mode to scrub on the index and collection sections. And now, watch as I scroll through these. The text resolves in step with the scroll and reblurs as I go back up. All three modes from the one component, and that is the entire component complete. A single reusable GUI text reveal you can drop into any Next.js project with three modes: on load, on scroll, and scrubbed. Hope you found this one useful, and I will catch you in the next one.